Good morning. My name is Robert Stanley, and this is my week 3 assignment for Introduction to Ammunition and Ballistics. This week I will be going over the difference between an explosive and a propellant, my opinion on whether or not firearm industries, whether or not they should or should not move away from the current propellant. And then I will have a diagram that shows the likes or the commonalities and the differences between the battery cut boxer and Burden primers. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and start with the difference between an explosive and a propellant. Propellant is the force or substance that drives an object forward. It is used to push whatever is in front of the propellant. It is just used to push that object forward. An explosive is basically a chemical compound, mixture, or a device that the primary or common purpose of it is to create an explosion. So right there, those are the two differences between a propellant and an explosion or an explosive. One creates an explosion, and the other one just propels an object forward. Next thing I'm going to go over is whether or not my opinion on whether or not firearm industry should move on from the current propellant. In my opinion, I do not believe that firearm industry should change. There really hasn't been a downfall or any negative impacts on the current propellant that they use. I've used old black powder. I've used the new black powder that they have. All my rounds and ammunition that I have, I've never really had an issue with anything not firing or being propelled, the projectile being propelled. I've never had an issue. I really haven't heard of many issues unless you get the black powder or anything wet. You get it wet, yes, you're going to have issues. But that's with anything. You get it wet, if it's not designed to be wet, it's not going to work as intended. So, in my opinion, there really isn't much that they could do to improve. And again, this is my opinion. This is not based on facts. This is not based on research. This is just that. Next, I'm going to pull up and I'm going to show you the diagram that I have that shows some commonalities between the boxer, the battery, and the Purdon primers. A couple of them have likes between them. And then all three of them have some commonalities, and then they also have their differences. So right here is my diagram, and I'm sorry for you guys, this is going to be backwards on your end, but here's what I got. I'm going to go ahead and put it down, and then I'm going to explain what the differences, similarities, and the similarities are. So for the boxer primer, the the difference between the boxer, the battery, and the Burden. The boxer is the standard primer used here within the United States. It's also a complicated design for when you're trying to use it to reload. And then it also, for the primer, it has a single flash hole. So when the primer struck, there's only one flash hole for it to go for the flash to go through to ignite the primer or the propellant to propel the projectile forward. The next item is going to be the battery cup. The battery cup is used primarily in muzzle loaders and shotgun shells. Again, that's where they're used. They don't have flash holes, so when you strike the primer, it ignites all the propellant in front of it. So there are no flash holes needed. Where the Boxer had one, that's where those two differ. The next is the Burden primer. The Burden primer, they are primarily used in Asia and Europe. They are a simple design when making. The one thing that makes it a little difficult for reloading is the fact that they have two flash holes. So where the Boxer primer has one flash, the Burden primer has two flash holes. So it's gonna, when put one together, when reloading, you've got to make sure that the flash holes are properly aligned when putting everything together. Some of the commonalities between the Boxer and the battery, there are none that I could find. The battery and the Burden, I could not find any commonalities between just those two. The Boxer and the Burden primer, the commonalities that I found between those two were that they are used in small rifle and pistol ammo, and they're also used in large pistol and rifle ammo. That's just 4 of the commonalities that I came across with that. And the main commonality between all of them is that they all use cups and priming compound. So, and that is it for my week 7 assignment, my week 3 assignment. And I hope everybody has a happy Easter. Thank you.